We've all been there, right? Staring down a really tough, high-stakes decision at work where the right path just isn't obvious. These are the moments that can make or break our careers and even our companies. So, how do we make the right call when all that pressure's on? Just think back for a second to the last time you were truly stuck on a choice. Maybe it was about a project deadline, or a tricky client issue, or some new strategy. You knew that whatever you picked, it was going to have real consequences, but every single option felt like a compromise. And that's really the heart of the problem, isn't it? One bad call can unravel years of hard work. It can completely shatter the trust you've built with customers, wreck your reputation in the market, and just throw your entire strategy way off course. The stakes are, well, they're incredibly high. But what if there was a structured way to get through these challenges? A method to turn that gut-wrenching uncertainty into a clear, confident, and, most importantly, ethical path forward? Well, there is. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. It's called the 8-Question Framework. It was developed by Paul C. Godfrey and Laura E. Jacobus, and it's basically designed to be a reliable guide. It makes sure you're doing a really thorough ethical analysis that thinks about everything from your company's mission all the way to its impact on the world. This quote just nails it. The whole power of this framework is that it takes that vague, super stressful question, is this the right thing to do, and turns it into a structured, strategic process. It's not about finding some magic answer. It's about making a choice that's well-reasoned and totally defensible. All right, so what are these magical questions? Let's dive into the heart of the framework itself. Think of these 8 points as your go-to checklist for making a really sound decision. Okay, let's run through these. The first 2 are all about alignment. Number 1, strategic fit. Is this decision actually moving you closer to your big picture goals? And 2, values fit. Does it line up with what your company stands for, its core principles? Easy enough. Next, we look at the consequences. Value added, what genuine benefit is this creating and for whom? And stakeholder impact. Who gets affected here, both in a good way and a bad way? Then we have to challenge ourselves. We dig into our assumptions, we identify all the potential costs and the risks. This is where you find your blind spots. And finally, number 8 forces us to get creative. Options. Is there a better, more ethical way to do this that we haven't even thought of yet? You see? Together, this structure makes you look at the problem from every single critical angle. Theory is great and all, but let's see how this actually works when the rubber meets the road. We're going to put the framework to the test with a classic modern-day dilemma, just to see how much clarity it can provide. So here's the situation. A tech company, they need to bring in more money. And a seemingly easy solution pops up: sell their user data to advertisers. I mean, it's a fast track to profit, right? But it immediately raises some pretty serious red flags. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Look how quickly the framework just exposes all the flaws here. Strategic fit? Nope, it totally violates their mission of user trust. Values fit? Absolutely not. It contradicts their stated values of transparency. And check out the stakeholder impact. The only real winner here is the company's short-term bottom line, while users lose their privacy. The framework just systematically dismantles the whole argument for making this decision. And so, the conclusion becomes crystal clear. The framework doesn't just tell you no, it builds this ironclad case for why the answer is no. The decision is obvious: reject the sale. But just as important, it pushes you to pursue a better, more ethical alternative that you discovered when you got to that 8th question. The real power of this whole thing doesn't come from using it just once. It comes from embedding it into your team's culture, into your DNA. So how do you go from it being a one-time tool to just a daily habit? Well, here are a few simple but really powerful ways. Start using the language of the 8 questions in your meetings. Seriously, just put a poster up in the office. After a big project, use the framework to debrief and see what could have gone better. And maybe most importantly, celebrate and reward the people and the teams who are making those thoughtful, ethical choices. At the end of the day, this isn't about adding bureaucracy or slowing things down. It's all about building a sustainable, trustworthy organization. The framework is your defense against those hidden risks and unchecked assumptions. It literally strengthens your decision-making muscle for the long haul. So, as we wrap this up, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. It could be something big or small, personal or professional. What's the next tough call you have to make, and how might these 8 questions help you make it with a little more clarity and a lot more confidence?